So I recently saw the movie Oppenheimer that's directed by Christopher Nolan, which is about a biopic about the American scientist Robert Oppenheimer, who is the inventor of the atomic bomb and the first person to introduce nuclear weapons in warfare. And the casting of this movie, you have Cillian Murphy, Florence Pugh, Robert Downey Jr., Emily Blunt, Matt Damon, and so many more actors and actresses that you would just see from multiple movies. So if you were like a film critic or a film nerd, that you would just be like so shocked and surprised that they're actually in this movie. And they all did a fantastic job, even if they were there for like 30 minutes or 30 seconds. It was just a real interesting thing to see because, the main focus of like this movie, of the actors that they're heavily focused on, is Cillian Murphy, Florence Pugh, Robert Downey Jr., Matt Damon, and Emily Blunt. And these are kind of like the main five actors that they focus on because they are the main important characters that you have to focus. With Cillian Murphy, he does play as Robert Oppenheimer, and it was just, he did a fantastic job. He really did a fantastic job. And this is his first lead role in the movie. So it was really interesting to see how he was able to pull it off because in this whole movie, you just see him as Robert Oppenheimer with his mannerism, how he was actually talking, how he looked, just everything on how he was able to embody Robert Oppenheimer was just 100% incredible. And this movie honestly focused on how Robert Oppenheimer were able enough to bring his ideas back into America, and then he was able to like start this idea of making the atomic bomb, the process and the aftermath and the ambitions on actually doing this. And Cillian Murphy, how he just showcased like his facial expressions as playing as Oppenheimer was just so amazing and just so much captivating because you just looked at him and he has like this stone cold face, and you can just see the imagination of what Oppenheimer is thinking of, even through like times of building an idea or stressful times. And it was really good to see the visualization of seeing what Oppenheimer was thinking of and visualizing. And it was like really, really tough to see like how like intense it is because when it came down to like, after the atomic bomb and what he was thinking, just visualizing like, the flashing lights and the boom and seeing like, people like dying from the explosions, but also as well to visualizing the weapons and the energy, like, just moving and stuff. And it was just really good. But, the movie is 90% dialogue. This movie is 90% dialogue and it's 3 hours long. So if you're going to this movie thinking that there's going to be like some actions or everything else or like this explosions, it's not going to be like that. 90% of the time is people actually talking towards each other. We do have one scene where they really do the test drive of the atomic bomb, and you just get 2 minutes of the scene of the explosion, and it's just pure quietness, and you just see the beauty of the fire and the explosions and the sparks of energy and everything else of items and stuff like that just going in this movie screen. And so even though this movie, you should watch this in IMAX, one of the negatives about this movie is that it is so hard to hear what the actors and actresses are saying in this movie. I don't know why Christopher Nolan, like why he doesn't pull up the volume when the actors are talking, because it was very, very hard to hear, especially during like the first 30 minutes of this movie, because it was just like, what? Because you just really can't hear. But like that's just one of the negatives. Now, this movie is, I did say it's 3 hours. So like if you're going to this movie blind and not knowing the runtime of this movie, you're most likely is going to feel that 3 hours. Now, for me, I already knew like a month in advance that this movie was going to be 3 hours. So like I automatically suspected this movie was going to be long. And did it felt long? yes, I mean, that 3 hours did hit me, but I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Some people might not feel it. Some people might not enjoy the 3 hours, and that's okay. But I really did enjoy it because this is a story of how he was able enough to be in the Manhattan Project, how he was able to make the bomb, the aftermath, and how everything like concluded. So like it was just a really good way to showcase like the whole story of Robert Oppenheimer and what happened to him after. And I think the 3 hours was worth telling the whole story in the whole detail, because the whole movie is not just talking about Robert Oppenheimer, how he started the atomic bomb and after the atomic bomb and what effects that it did to Japan, but it also showcased the life that Robert Oppenheimer has created, because he had created a change of the events of creating the destructions of the world. And we see it like towards the end of the movie as well, when Robert Oppenheimer, he's staring at the pond and we just see like, the puddles, like the raindrops hitting on like the puddle. And it just showcased that these are nukes actually hitting its targets. So, this movie, this 3 hour movie, is not just talking about how he started the idea, created it, and the after effects of it, but it's also showcasing him the consequences of what he has created. Robert Downey Jr. did a fantastic job as his role, because he is just showcasing that he is just more than Iron Man in this movie, because throughout 10 years he's been doing MC movies, but so now he just really is kicking ass in his role. But on top of that, Florence Pugh did a fantastic job as playing the mistress and the love interest for Robert Oppenheimer. And this man almost ruined his whole career, his whole life for some piece of ass, man, because the whole purpose towards like the end, after Robert Oppenheimer made the atomic bomb, they started investigating because he started going against the whole purpose of how they're using nuclear weapons and the atomic bomb, and also as well too that the Russians made their own nuclear weapon as well. So of course they're looking at Robert Oppenheimer as thinking that, oh, he's a spy. So because he associate with other people who were part of the Communist Party, such as his mistress. And so it was just really interesting to see. And of course, there are some romance scenes with Robert Oppenheimer and his mistress. And it's out there. Like the first time, it's just like, it just happens out of nowhere. And it's just like, whoa, okay. And then next thing you know, like 9 out of 10 times you see Florence Pugh being nude. But it just showcased that, because there's even one scene where he's being interrogated because he meet her for like one more time, and then you could just see how the wife was visualizing her name when Robert was mentioning her. And it was just a very interesting aspect to see, like, not only that you see Robert's, mind, but imagination, but you also see his wife as well. But other than that, the whole purpose of this movie is just talking about like how you have this powerful weapon that's just most likely that can destroy the whole entire world. And it just showcased just like how like dangerous it is, and like how one man can like make this dangerous weapon that can just end humanity. And especially too like how inhumane or not have any empathy on when they're using this atomic bomb, because like how they decided to actually drop the bomb in Japan, because originally the bomb was supposed to hit Germany, but of course they defeated Germany, but Japan still want to continue on fighting. So how they actually organized on like how they're going to drop the bomb was just real funny, because there was one scene where the guy was just like, oh, we can't drop it at this location because I actually vacationed there and it's very, really nice. So they decided, it was like, okay, so we're just going to drop it here and here. And it was just like, what the hell? And even one scene where you just see Oppenheimer, he's just looking at them like, bro, are you serious? So it's just really funny. And also too how like kind of like heartless the president is, because when Oppenheimer was just like, I think we should kind of put some regulations on it, he was just like, get this crybaby out of my office. I'm like, yo, these people are heartless. But also Robert Oppenheimer, that man smokes a lot. Like I know in the history he died by throat cancer because like a chain smoker, but man, every scene that you see, this man always have a damn cigarette. This man always have a cigarette on him. And it's just really amazing. Like, it's just like, damn, bruh. So, but yeah, no, like this movie was a really good educational movie because, like, if you like history, if you like documentaries, if you like, biopics or drama, you definitely would like this movie. Like, this movie was really good. Like, this movie is not really meant for me, but I actually had a blast. I would recommend this movie actually. This is kind of one of my favorite movies for this year. Honestly, if I had to rate this movie, I would give this an A. And honestly, I would give this movie a 9 out of 10. Yeah, this movie is a real good movie, and I would recommend people should watch it. I mean, like I said, it's 3 hours. 90% of this movie is dialogue. There's one point in the movie where it just goes silent because they're test driving the bomb. And so you just see, like, it's just silence, but you just see the explosion. And that was just a beautiful thing to watch and just see. But other than that, Robert Oppenheimer, he's a dog. This man is a dog. This man lets you know what he's thinking of. He doesn't care if the feds were listening or anything else. He just says what he says. He do what he does. This man had a mistress. This man stealing people's wives. Like, this man is just a straight dog, man. And you have to appreciate that. And also, too, you have to appreciate his wife because his wife had his back no matter what, because there was a scientist that was trying to sabotage, a Robert Oppenheimer. And then towards the end of the movie, like, even though Robert Oppenheimer, he was trying to be like, the bigger man and kind of like respecting him and everything else, the wife did it. The wife just gave him a mean mug, and that was just really funny. But other than that, you guys should watch this movie. Like I said, you'll have a good time. But let me know down in the comment section if you guys did watch this movie, if you guys thought you guys had a good time, if you guys didn't. Let me know down in the comment section how you feel about this movie. And if you guys do like the video, please give it a like, subscribe, and remember, always be decent. This is the Monotone Man, and hope you guys have a wonderful day and be safe out here. Peace.